And you apply with HMS Capital, right? And then you apply with another lender. HMS Capital is the only lender that I know of that encourages homeowners to apply with multiple lenders. So I've known Mark for a long time through Bill Handel, and it's totally true. There are no appraisals and no application fees of any kind. So go ahead and take the HMS Capital Challenge. Apply with HMS Capital and then apply with some other lender. Rates are the lowest they've ever been at HMS Capital. 833-255-5698. 833-255-5698 or hmscapital.com.
HMS Capital Funding is a DBA Golden Finance, MLS ID number 2427. HMS Capital is licensed by the Department of Finance and Administration under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act. License number 4130360. Equal housing lender.
Good morning, Jan.
Oh, hey, Jim.
What you doing at the dealership so early?
Well, the Olympic Games are on, and so is Toyota's National Sales Event. So I'm working on my sports analogy.
Oh, let's hear a few.
At Toyota's National Sales Event, we've got deals that go the distance on Toyota's winning lineup of 2021, including Camry, Venza, RAV4, Highlander, and more.
Spoken like a true champion.
Thanks, Jim. But keep your eye on the prize and don't wait until the last lap, because these deals are a knockout.
Wow, Jan. Way to stick the landing.
Practice makes perfect. Toyota's National Sales Event is on now. Make a fast break into your Toyota dealer today.
Where'd you get that air horn?
Oh, this? I keep it in my purse.
Very practical. Current offers end September 7th. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Toyota. Let's go places.
Investors NRIA provides up to 18 to 21% returns on their Class A real estate portfolio. Go to nria.net for more.
KFI AM 640.
iHeart radio station.
24-hour news. More stimulating talk.
Turn on the microphone. John and Ken Show. John Cobalt and Ken Shambo, KFI AM 640, live everywhere on the iHeart Radio app.
The popular podcaster Joe Rogan, a vaccine skeptic, has announced that he has tested positive for COVID-19. Let's hope he doesn't join the other talk show hosts who apparently have been vaccine skeptics and died. Three of them.
And do you ever read the news stories about their death and then go to the comment section and how many people mock them for not taking the vaccine and dying? People cheer on the death.
Keep in mind the mortality rate is still very low for COVID, so yeah, these are still exceptions. It's not like everybody who doesn't take the vaccine is going to die if they get COVID. It just doesn't work that way.
No, it's just, well, that's why, three dead talk show hosts.
Oh, you think there's 100 talk show hosts who've gotten COVID?
Probably, sure.
Yes, and they're fine.
All talk show hosts, they don't take the vaccine. All.
We got Producer Ray, but Producer Ray was vaccinated.
He got vaccinated, and we were just talking about that today. It's like we're trying to imagine what he did to get the virus anyway, and wipe him out.
It may not be that hard if the Delta's made it very, very, very highly transmittable.
Yeah.
It could be just one. Well, we're going to talk about this after.
I think he went places where there was a heavy viral load.
I couldn't believe it. The New York Times today has a story, not because it's the New York Times. It's a story about my theory of sort of the super spreader effect of COVID and just how it works. It's not proven yet, but especially when I looked at what happened in New York and New Jersey early on last year, it's a suspicion I've had all along about how this virus kind of burns its way through and then goes off a cliff.
Right, and then shows up in another region of the country.
Exactly.
And hits hard for about 2 months and then disappears there.
That's the theory. We'll get into it after the news at 5 o'clock. Last weekend, one of the big stories was Hurricane Ida. And, of course, people will watch all weekend to see what happens to New Orleans, Louisiana, and Mississippi. And the storm passed, and, there was flooding and a couple of deaths, and we move on. Well, we're not going to move on. We're going to tell you that the worst of a hurricane is often after the storm is well past, because, oh my God, imagine a world without electricity. Imagine a world without water, without gasoline, without food. That's what they're facing, and it's getting really ugly and desperate.
When do people start beating each other?
One woman who runs a church group in Mississippi said our desperate need now is for tarps, gasoline, generators, food, water. Some people are going to pools, actual backyard pools, to scoop up buckets of water to wash with. They're bathing in it. They're so desperate because they don't have water.
All right. This is what I would do. I would get out of it. No, seriously, I would get out of there just for a month, right? Because nobody's going to work.
Get in your car, whatever gas you have left.
That's right. Get in your car.
Find a state that has a hotel room.
That's right. And just, or, get a tent. Anything. Don't start dredging swimming pools and fighting people for the last hot dog at the 7-Eleven. If you're out of water, out of food, out of electricity, it means it's uninhabitable, and it's going to take months before the government can fix things. Just start the car and get out of there.
Well, I remember, I guess it's 4 or 5 years ago now, Florida had one of those hurricanes, and my parents lived there, and they didn't want to evacuate. So my brother and my sister-in-law went there to stay with them, and of course, the storm didn't do any damage to their home. They lived in like a condo, but they had no power, no air conditioning. Mm-hmm. They're 90 years old, and it was like a 95 degrees with humidity.
Right, that's another thing. I mean, you were in New Orleans for a few months, right?
Oh, for about 6, yeah.
What's that heat and humidity like?
Fortunately, I was there from October through March. It wasn't too bad. I was not there in the summer. But
I've been in Florida in the dead of summer.
Oh, I have too.
It's unimaginable how stifling that is. I mean, people out here have no idea what 90-degree heat is like with 90% humidity. It sucks the life out of you before you get to the bottom of your driveway. You just want to lay down and die.
Yeah, the number of deaths has gone up to 4 or 5 in Louisiana and Mississippi, but they're still not sure the toll because they still have to find their way through all the neighborhoods and tally everything up. But it's an ugly situation there, and it's like, I always remember this, it was kind of the case with Katrina. The media just moves on. All right, the storms passed through, the city didn't flood over, but the recovery. There are reports that they could get electricity back. Some of the city of New Orleans may have some back by tonight, but the city itself, it could take weeks to get all the areas of the city back to power.
Go find an air-conditioned room.
But some people have no money. They can't.
Oh, everybody's got money. Everybody has credit cards that they maxed out on. People have money. They have money when, to spend it on nonsense.
About 440,000 people in 17 parishes, those are the counties, in Louisiana still had no water. And about 319,000 people were under border royal advisory, because that's a tricky thing, too. And I don't know if you heard this Grand Isle, which is a barrier island that bore the full force of Ida's winds. People there say that it's almost unrecognizable. It'll take years for it to come back again because of just the erosion and the damage from the storm blowing through. The island has about 1,400 people who live there, but it was heavily damaged. The main roadway was nearly completely covered in sand brought in from the tidal surge.
Look, it's a free country. People can do what they want, but there's some areas that are just dumb to live in.
You don't live in?
You're on an island off the coast of Louisiana. Well, what do you think's going to happen every 5-10 years?
Like, I remember you saying this years ago. Remember when the Mississippi River kept flooding people's homes?
Yeah. Well, what do you do?
Why do you live there?
Why do you live there? I have no electricity, I have no water, I have no food. It's like you dumb clock. How many hurricanes do you want to live through? Pack up and go inland.
This is where I bring Deborah Mark into the conversation.
Yeah.
When we get the big earthquake, people are going to say to John Cobell, why do you live there? They knew that could happen.
They're right. But I'm telling you, I'm getting in my car and taking my credit card, and I'm driving 100 miles away.
But would you stay?
Am I going to stay here? I mean, if I have to fight people for water, no.
No, but I mean, would you come back and rebuild?
As long as I've got this job.
Yeah, we can do this job from anywhere.
Actually, yeah, we could. So maybe not.
Okay.
Maybe not. Now that I think about it, that might be my out.
I'm building my earthquake quit, Deborah Mark.
You are?
I am, yeah. I've decided to take the task up.
Okay, will you come to my house and help me out? I need
thought
some
you
help.
had one already.
No.
I'm going to count on you for tips.
No, not really. Every day I think that I should, but then another day goes by and fail.
Oh, that's the first thing it says in this article I was reading. Everyone says that, I'm going to put together a kit, and then they don't.
I know. I do have a lot of water. I do have that. And I do have some vegan protein bars, but just not enough. Not enough
don't
to
want
last.
those.
You're like, they're actually
I'd rather starve.
Me too. You don't want to be trapped with her.
I keep thinking of those army meals ready to eat.
Oh my God! See, this is what would happen if there was an earthquake, right? And we ended up at the bottom of the rubble here in the building.
Yeah.
We'd be lying there under 6 stories of rubble.
You'd be passing you a vegan bar. You'd be like,
I'm hungry. Oh, here's my vegan bar.
Yeah, and you would grab it. You would be very thankful. Oh, thank you, Deborah.
No.
Oh, my God, that's wonderful. I was starving. I can't get a burger. I'll take a vegan
I
bar.
just pictured that cartoon, just your little eyeballs in the dark, and you're trying to pass down that vegan bar. John Mayer, never mind.
No.
I'll die.
He dies. I tell you what, pass me an exit bag instead.
Well, she'd be under the rubble. They're just chattering away.
No, I don't think I would be chattering away at that point. I think I'd be freaking out.
Well, that's not better.
No, it's probably
under there.
All right, we got more coming up.
Johnny Ken, KFI, Deborah Marquez News.
An LA County Sheriff's deputy who lives in San Bernardino County has been arrested for allegedly sexually abusing a 16-year-old girl in Rancho Cucamonga. More than 4.6 million people in California have voted in the recall election that will determine Governor Newsom's state. The U.S. Forest Service says all national forests in California are closed, but Yosemite is actually open. Park officials say they are not affected by the closure that goes through September 17th. We'll go to the 118, and we will check in with the KFI in the sky next.
Are you no longer smiling in public because people turn their heads and howl in disgust? Even your kids and your dogs don't want to look at your mouth. If you're no longer eating solid food, you're sipping oatmeal through a straw because your teeth have rotted, fallen out, they're missing. Cutting Dental can change your life with new permanent teeth in a day. These look and feel just like natural teeth. You'll never have the annoying issues that come with dentures. And you'll be able to smile and eat with total confidence again. You'll eat real food. Now, there's a free seminar in Irvine, Saturday the 11th. You'll learn all about permanent teeth, and you'll meet real patients. Limited seating with social distancing. Call now and reserve your seat. Or call for a free appointment, get an X-ray, an exam, and a CT scan. That's worth $1,500. And that offer ends September 30th. So you can call, you can go to the free seminar, call for an appointment, 888-640-SMILE. Cutting Dental, 888-640-SMILE, 888-640-SMILE.
Get a king bed for a queen price at Mattress Firm. Save up to $500 during the best Labor Day sale ever on top-rated brands like Steely and Sleepy's. Plus, get a free adjustable base when you spend $6.99 or more.
Southland weather from KFI. Sunny tomorrow, highs upper 70s to around 90. This report brought to you by Mattress Firm. It's slow on the 118 in Porter Ranch.
Eastbound delays backing up away from DeSoto, taking you ahead all the way to Reseda Boulevard, and then a little bit of another slow drive ahead coming up on the 405, looking much better once you make your way past the 5 freeway. Now we've got Will Colschreiber checking out Chino Hills, KFI in the Sky, sponsored by Injury Attorney, Superwoman, Superlawyer.com.
60 freeway looks to be the heavy one if you're headed eastbound. Starting at about the 71, it is a crawl over to the 15. It looks a lot heavier than the 10, I would say. And if you're trying to get east on the 91, well, it's pretty busy as well. Slowing just past the 5 as you head eastbound. Across the 57, continuing slow with a few breaks in there all the way into Corona. Injured in an accident? Visit Superwoman, Superlawyer.com. Will Colschreiber, KFI in the Sky.
Both directions of the 605, pretty slow moving out of Santa Fe Springs between the 5 and the 60. KFI in the Sky helps get you there faster. I'm Angel Martinez.
This report is sponsored by In-N-Out Burger.
At In-N-Out, we're honored to have been the go-to for so many for over 70 years. Whether after the game, on the road, or just because it's Saturday, your burger, fries, and shake are always going to be exactly as imagined. Even occasions like right now. See you soon.
Attention homeowners. Interactive Mortgage has dropped rates again to a rock bottom 1.75% rate in APR. Yes, it's incredible. A rock bottom 1.75%. And if that's not enough, Interactive Mortgage will even pay your title, escrow, and appraisal fees. That's right, no points and no fees. Absolutely zero. Zilch. None. So what are you waiting for? Call now and take advantage of these never-before-offered rates. A 1.75% weight in APR with no fees whatsoever. Call Interactive Mortgage now at 844-371-CASH. That's 844-371-CASH. 844-371-2274. Or visit interactivemortgage.com.
Waypoint Corporation, DBA Interactive Mortgage, Equal Housing Lender. Terms and conditions apply. New client total, loan amount $350,000 to $548,206. Minimum FICO of 740 and maximum LTV of 50%. All loans subject to underwriting approval, and not all applicants will qualify. Loans made or arranged pursuant to California Finance Law License number 603F938. NMLS number 302352.
We had the greatest fans in all of baseball.
Join us on Monday, September 13th to celebrate a Dodger legend who needs no introduction.
Hall of Famer Tommy Lasorda.
Be here as the Dodgers play the Diamondbacks and arrive early, since the first 40,000 fans in attendance will receive a Tommy Lasorda bobblehead presented by Security Benefit.
Rest assured he's smiling and his spirit is with each and every one of us.
For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
You've got dreams. Maybe you want to refinance so you can start those home improvements you've been putting off. Take that long-awaited vacation, or pay off high-interest debt like credit cards, student loans, or personal loans. Take advantage. Your home equity has never been higher. I'm Lisa Alley of Summit Lending. We are a business dedicated to complete transparency and committed to obtaining loan packages that provide the lowest rates on the market. Summit Lending is family-owned and operated, and our service level is unparalleled. Check us out online. Our reviews speak for themselves. We have our own credit line with our own bank and can compete with anyone. Every KFI customer has direct access to the president of the company. That's me, Lisa. And remember, we love our veterans. For a rate quote within the hour, call Summit Lending at 800-640-1350. That's 800-640-1350, or email me personally at gowithsummit.com. Once again, that's 800-640-1350.
MNLS number 339255. DRE license number 0186478.
It's the word mattress stores can't stop shouting every Labor Day holiday. Sale! Sale!
Right, Dad, but what good is getting the lowest price on the wrong mattress?
So this Labor Day, come to Sit Sleep, where our exclusive bed match technology scientifically matches you for just the right mattress.
Save 50% on select mattresses, and with your good credit, pay 0% financing for 36 months.
So this Labor Day, don't settle for a low price on the wrong mattress.
Trust your sleep to Sit and Sleep.
Wake up call.
I get up at 2:45 so that you can sleep in until 4:59 so that you're ready to go for wake-up call.
Mornings at 5 on KFI.
John and Ken Show. John Cobelt and Ken Shampo, KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. We'll give you the update on COVID. There's a couple of interesting stories today. The CDC says don't travel this weekend if you're unvaccinated. That'll be paid attention to. How about the Mu variant? What? Turns you into a cow. MU. Is that the letter we're up to in the Greek alphabet now? Mu. We passed lambda. I never heard of Mu. Mu! That's, because I've heard all the other names because they're fraternity names. We'll talk about the possibility that the Delta thing is over in 2 months, maybe. And we're almost at that point. So I'm actually reading stories that they think that LA County is probably already starting to see a drop. We should be at herd immunity already. Got an 80% vaccination rate. That doesn't even count all the people who caught the virus. Natural immunity. This should be gone. Let's talk about the unusual animal story this week, although there's been a number of them. It's hard for me to believe that somebody living in the Bronx, New York, if you're familiar, it's pretty urban, hellhole, had an 80-pound cougar in the house. Her name is Sasha. She was rescued and taken to an animal sanctuary. And apparently it was tough because the owner was very tearful. She was there when they took the cat away, and the cat started chirping and crying like it was really missing living in the home. It's a very weird situation, but apparently I guess they got a tip. This 11-month-old, 80-pound animal was living in this home, and it doesn't say whether it's an apartment or it's a house itself. I don't know how big, but there aren't too many houses in the Bronx. I mean, there are 80-pound dogs, so I would imagine this cougar might have gotten even bigger. Yeah, but that's what they do. I mean, once they get to a certain age. They'll tear you apart.
They're going to eat you. They're going to wake up, and you're going to be smelling bad.
Oh, is that how it works?
Oh, sure. Animals react to anything that bugs them. They don't like the smell. They don't like what you're eating. They get sick of it.
It's taken to Turpentine Creek.
Easy.
That's a bad name. Turpentine Creek. Where the cat will receive care at a 450-acre sanctuary.
That must be in New Jersey, Turpentine Creek.
I was going to say, Turpentine's used to remove paint.
Yes. That's a famous New Jersey river. The River of Turpentine.
Well, that's where they have to announce this. Wildlife like cougars, they're not house pets. Thank you.
Yeah.
While cougars may look cute and cuddly when they're young, they can grow up to be unpredictable and dangerous, as John
It's an earnest... that's bigger than you are, that cougar.
I weigh more than 80 pounds.
Not much more.
Not much more, but a little more.
Oh, you'd be a good meal for a cougar.
Yes, I would. I'm sure.
I think it's a general rule not to have any animal as a pet that could kill you.
That's a good rule, Ken.
Wow. That's a good little public service announcement there.
Now, that includes dogs. I mean,
there's
are
some
large
dangerous
dogs that
dogs.
could kill you, so I would not get one of that sort of size. Because John's right. Even though they could spend their whole lives being docile and sweet, there's a possibility they could just have a bad day.
Right. They just don't like your look anymore.
And how many times a year do I read, it makes me, where a baby gets ripped apart by an animal, the dog, that just happened last week somewhere.
What was the...
guy left the room for a moment, and the dog jumped on the kid and tore it apart.
Yeah, you can't do that. What was that guy? Remember the guy, they hit a chimpanzee, I think?
You mean Mo the chimp?
Was it Mo the chimp?
Oh, and Mo the chimp attacked him, and,
Now, there were two stories.
Ripped his
One was a
testicles
woman,
off.
I think.
A woman. Right. The woman lost her face.
Yeah. Oh, that woman, yeah, she was back east.
And then Mo the
But
chimp...
there's a guy from Southern California that got attacked by, I think it was Mo the chimp, who I think ripped his testicles off, if I remember right.
You're right, he lost his nuts.
Yeah, they're strong too. Again, same rule. Anything that can kill you, don't keep it as a pet.
You cannot
Fish is pretty safe unless it's a piranha.
That's right. A goldfish has never hurt anybody.
A bird is probably pretty safe.
I had a bird chase me around the room one time. Didn't like me.
How big a bird?
It was a conure parrot. Is that what it is? A sun conure. It wasn't that big, but it was really sad, real quick.
Just like
the
the
owner
Hitchcock
died.
movie?
Yes, the owner died, and so I was rescuing it until I could find a proper home. The bird hated me. I have no idea why. I didn't do anything to the friggin' bird, and it seriously was chasing me around the room. I couldn't go near it.
That happened to me one day. I was jogging outside. And suddenly this, I guess it was a raven or a crow, decided to keep dive bombing on my head.
Oh, no.
And I couldn't freaking figure it out. I kept waving it off, but it was really aggressive. And some guy ran by me and he goes, "Wow, what's with that bird?" I said, "I don't know."
Isn't that a sign you're going to die? A raven dive bombs you.
He kept coming down, and that was my hat I had on or something. It wasn't. All right, we got
I'm trying
more.
to imagine what you were doing to annoy that parrot.
I have
I was
no
running. I was
idea.
doing. Oh yeah, what she was doing.
Oh, I have no idea. Talking. You're a sweet little birdie, and then it hates me? I mean, come on.
That simple.
Ladies and gentlemen, crazy. Get out of here. John and Kate, Denver Marquez News, Kfi Am 40.
Your vaccine for stupidity. KFI.
KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Searching for a predator on Denver Mark, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. The LAPD is looking for a man who broke into a UCLA student's apartment in Westwood and sexually assaulted her while she was asleep.
Investigators have released a sketch of the man. He has been described as white or Hispanic, driving a gray Ford Fusion. LAPD Detective Eric Crossan says as of now it doesn't appear any other women were attacked.
So we still have more interviews to do with residents and possible witnesses.
He also says the woman who was attacked last week was not seriously hurt.
There was no serious injury to her other than she went through waking up and finding a stranger in her bedroom.
Like Trolley, KFI News.
The Orange County Board of Education is considering a third lawsuit challenging Governor Newsom's COVID-19 restrictions.
First, the board will vote on sending a letter demanding Newsom give up his emergency powers by the end of next week or get sued in the lower court.
The Emergency Service Act says the governor shall terminate the state of emergency at the earliest possible moment.
Board of Education Vice President Dr. Ken Williams says parents should be able to choose if their kids wear masks in school.
Parents don't want their kids to have all these restrictions.
The state Supreme Court declined to hear the board's first lawsuit filed last year to reopen schools, and last month declined the second lawsuit, which also sought to end Newsom's emergency powers. In Orange County, Corbin Carson, KFI News.
LA City Councilman Kern Price has introduced a motion to get $5 million to help the people from South LA impacted by that huge illegal fireworks explosion days before the 4th of July. Some of the money would be taken from the LAPD's budget. The massive explosion was set off by an LAPD bomb squad. It injured 17 people and forced many from their homes. A student shot at a high school in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, has died. Police Chief Katrina Thompson says the shooting at Mount Tabor High School was reported just after noon today.
Forsyth County Sheriff's Office, SRO, advised the student had been shot and suspect was still on the loose.
An arrest was made hours later. The injured student died at a hospital. A sheriff's office in Florida is investigating a so-called hit list found in a high school classroom. A student found the list crumpled up on the floor of a science class. It was a reminder to take a gun to school on September 8th to shoot intended targets. Martin County Sheriff William Snyder says the names of 9 students were on that list.
We're looking for the student who wrote that. We're doing the best we can. I haven't given up hope. So far, we have not been able to determine who wrote it.
He says it's not known if the writer was joking, but the threat is being taken seriously. And several international agencies and officials are working to get members of the Afghanistan women's national soccer team out of the country. The mission is being called Operation Soccer Balls. Most of the players were flown to Australia last week, but the ones who are left in Afghanistan say they're worried about their safety and the safety of their families. Under Taliban rules, women and girls are not allowed to play sports. It's slow on the 110 in South LA.
We're looking at the northbound side. Delays are backing up, getting away from the 105 freeway. You have delays and stretches all the way to the 5 in the Legion Park. The southbound side pretty much slowing that whole same stretch with southbound delays building in right around Stadium Way. Let's check in with Will Kohlschreiber, KFI in the Sky, sponsored by Injury Attorney, SuperwomanSuperLawyer.com, East LA.
No big incidents on the southbound side of the 5, getting out of the East LA interchange, but certainly a lot of traffic. Nobody going anywhere too quickly on that southbound 5. Southbound 605 at the 5, there was an accident reported, and it does indeed. That 605 looks very slow southbound from the 60. Northbound side, though, it's jammed from the 105 all the way up to the 10. Injured in an accident, visit SuperwomanSuperLawyer.com. Will Kohlschreiber, KFI in the Sky.
Pretty heavy on the 57 southbound away from Imperial Highway. Delays to the 522 split. KFI in the Sky helps get you there faster. I'm Angel Martinez.
Maybe just a tad warmer tomorrow. We'll talk about that next.
If you want out of your house, moving, downsizing, you have financial issues, maybe you've inherited, so you list it with a broker, and that means hours of cleaning and painting and repairing and paying big fees. So let me give you another way of doing it. You get a fair price without any of that. Buyer never walks through your house. There's never an appraisal, no commissions, and you can get paid in cash within 10 days or less if you need it. That's directbuyers.com. That's the company that Janet and Matt, brother and sister, own, and I love the way they do business. They'll never lowball you. They're just honest folks. And let me tell you, a lot of schmucks in this industry, and that's not what they are. They'll give you an honest, no-obligation offer and even offer a $15,000 cash advance before closing. Go to directbuyers.com. That's directbuyers.com. Call 844-242-SELL, 844-242-SELL, directbuyers.com.
Hey, it's Dean Sharp. Have you still not gone solar? Let me help clear up some misconceptions. Solar doesn't cost you money. It saves you money. And it doesn't matter where your panels are made. It matters who makes them. And those $29.95 solar specials, they're not what's going to end up on your home. Sunlux left all of that behind to build a company that does solar better. Time for solar. It's time for Sunlux. Get started today at sunlux.com. That's sunlux.com. CSLB 1008374.
The KFI Financial Report brought to you by Bay Alarm. The Dow closed down 48, S&P 500 up 1, NASDAQ up 50, and the average price of a gallon of regular gas in California is $4.39.
With a range of commercial fire and security solutions, Bay Alarm can protect it all with just one call.
Southland weather from KFI. Sunny tomorrow, low to mid-70s at the beaches, low 80s for Metro LA, upper 70s to mid-80s for the valleys, upper 70s to low 80s for Inland OC, 85 to 90 in the IE. Right now, 72 in Seal Beach, is 76 in Costa Mesa, 77 in North Hollywood, and 70 in Santa Monica. We lead local, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Deborah Mark.
The John and Ken Show continues. John Cobell, Ken Shampo, KFI. AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
A big story for us today is not exactly news we didn't expect. A guilty verdict for the man who shot and killed Whittier police officer Keith Boyer back in February of 2017. The gang member, the scum, who benefited from Jerry Brown and the legislature's prisoner release policies. This was their prisoner reshuffling. His name was Christopher Mejia. He was only out in the streets because he, apparently broke his parole. They weren't going to send him back to state prison for a year like they could do. So he was free to wander around. And he decided one day to go to his cousin's house, and I don't know what happened, some kind of argument. He killed his cousin, took the car, drove around, got into an auto accident. Officer Boyer and his partner, Officer Patrick Hazel, were called to the scene. They thought they were just dealing with a collision. Next thing you know, they got a radio call about a stolen car, and that's when Mejia decided to open fire. Then he killed Officer Boyer, injured very badly Officer Hazel. The jury found him guilty of first-degree murder of his cousin and of Officer Boyer and attempted murder.
He admitted to killing the cop. He reveled in it. He bragged about, I smoked him.
He smoked him, that old expression.
He bragged to the detectives who were interviewing him.
You know what? They had to have, evidence in a debate over whether or not he was actually a gang member at the trial. Well, he's got tattoos, really.
Okay, he's not a gang member. Doesn't matter. He shot the cop dead. He should get the death penalty, except he won't, because Gascon won't file the death penalty against him. And
right, because in Newsom, we don't have one being carried out anyway.
Yeah, that's what I don't understand. How everybody should have signed the Recall Gascon petition by now.
Because you're an LA County registered voter, you go to recallgeorgegascon.com.
You don't think a cop killer ought to get the death penalty?
And child killers, too.
You have to make arguments for this?
Remember what he said? He wants no exemptions.
Yeah,
no exceptions to his directive. Yeah. Nope. And they came back at him, I remember that. But what about hate crimes? Well, maybe, the progressives. What about hate crimes? Wow, cop killers. And you know what? He's going to get life without parole, but do you really believe that?
What happens when he turns 60?
Exactly. He's too old.
He's going to get the Sirhan treatment.
When you hear Newsom avoided questions, apparently the press was peppering him. Are you going to parole? I'm not going to comment on that yet. That hasn't come to my desk yet.
Doesn't Robert Kennedy seem like he'd be a hero to somebody like Gavin Newsom?
You would think so. You're right.
Yeah.
A progressive 1960s forefront of the civil rights movement.
With a lot of hair. Comes from a wealthy family, a pedigree family.
Yeah, Newsom's protege.
Yeah, Newsom is like the dumb pluck version of Robert Kennedy. I want to see if he's going to let Sirhan out.
Very good.
Because the old generation of progressives who were alive in the 60s revered Bobby Kennedy. He was like a patron saint. Like probably, the generation of Newsom's parents.
Well, some members of the Boyer family said they're just glad this is over. I mean, look how long it took, too. Over 4 years to bring this to trial. I mean, I realize the pandemic hit, but
since he confessed to the detectives immediately, I lost track.
He's dead by now. I mean, in the old California, he'd already be executed.
Right. Shot right between the eyes. Next morning. The next morning, as soon as he confessed.
They didn't even have to confess, because there were 3 officers on the scene.
Right.
And the third officer's the one that shot him. So it's like, who else could have done that? He was detained right there at the scene.
They could have done a trial at the scene and then executed him right there.
There you go. I see. You should join the Taliban.
Look, there's a few things.
There's a few things. Yes, you've often said that. Some of Middle Eastern justice appeals to you.
No, it does.
It's quick and it's certain.
Where do you think Heads on a Stick came from?
Exactly. The CDC is urging you, if you have not been vaccinated, do not travel this weekend. That's going to happen.
That'll work.
They recommend you not travel because travel increases your chances of getting and spreading COVID-19. And anyone who is sick with coronavirus symptoms should just stay home, even if they're vaccinated.
Oh, thanks for that.
This is important information.
Jeez.
Did you see the numbers? It looks like people are canceling Labor Day trips. Airline traffic's down already.
Yeah, it was peaking at about 2.1 million passengers a day. It was down to 1.3 million.
It's the lowest since May, I heard.
Yeah. And I was hearing a doctor talk today because a lot of people have been getting sick after they come back from trips. I know, you know what's weird is I know more people now who got, in my extended circle of acquaintances, who got COVID and they're vaccinated than I knew people who got COVID last year when everybody was unvaccinated.
The Delta variant. And highly transmissible, that's what it did.
And nobody went to the hospital, so they survived it all. But
how did they know? They had a symptom or something? Why would they get tested?
They got sick. They felt sick.
They got some kind of
sick. Yeah, and they had like some of the symptoms.
I see.
So some of the classic symptoms.
Well, I think this proves that it is true. The Delta variant is, and that's the idea behind the variant. It wanted to find a way to be even more transmissible. So it may not take as long. But this is the thing I'm afraid of. I'm waiting for them to interpret that. Everything outdoors is now dangerous. Let's close the beaches. Let's close the park.
Let's close
the walking trails. No, I'm waiting for that. But they won't do that because there's a recall.
I saw a middle-aged couple this morning. They're walking side by side on a residential street. Nobody's around. A real quiet street. I just happened to pass them in my car. They both had big masks on. Like, you people are funny.
Not taking any chance.
There's like nobody within a block of them.
Well, but the LA County Board of Supervisors decided to hold off on requiring people to show proof that they've been vaccinated to get into certain indoor public spaces. This is the idea, bars, restaurants, theaters, among others. So they were going to, but apparently they pulled the idea back because, as I said before, we're starting to see a little drop in the transmission number.
That and the Newsom recall.
There's no recall. They don't want to hurt anybody voting.
If he survives, I wonder what September 15th is going to be like.
Because that leads us to our next story, which we'll talk about when we come back. Oh, also when we come back, Joe, remember there's still a chance for people to win a trip to the iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Oh, yeah. Bring me that, would you?
$1,000.
My favorite part of the day is reading that.
Well, we almost always forget.
I'll read the whole thing today. How about that?
There is a possibility in studying the Delta variant around the world that it's 2 months and done. Now, this is not solid, but there's increasing circumstantial evidence of it. We'll talk about it when we come back.
Johnny Tencho, KFI, Deborah Marquez News.
The LA County Fire Department is joining other fire agencies in California to help fight multiple wildfires burning across the state. The Navy is searching for 5 crew members who were on a helicopter that crashed into the ocean off San Diego. The helicopter crashed yesterday. 1 person has been rescued. Texas